I would like to say that I called it, but it was so blatantly obvious that Tinkatuff was going to evolve in this episode that I can't, in good conscience, boast that I predicted it. This doesn't change the fact that I knew it was going to happen, and knowing it was going to happen didn't make it any less exciting or delightful. Because while the outcome was obvious, the process wasn't. Things unfolded in several ways I genuinely didn't see coming. I did not expect that this would double as a Gimmighoul episode. Initially, it wanted Tinkatuff to gather coins for it, even though she was busy improving her hammer, meaning it was perfectly fine interrupting her for its own sake. The irony here is brilliant. Gimmighoul collecting coins is how it advances towards evolution, just like Tinkatuff improving her hammer is how she evolves. Gimmighoul was content halting her progress for its own, which sounds selfish, but I don't think it was being malicious. It was just acting on instinct. Once Tinkatuff stops working on her hammer to save a Gimmighoul from a Scrafty, recovering 2 coins for it in the process, things clearly change. Gimmighoul seemingly realizes that Tinkatuff also has something she is striving for, but she can put it aside for someone else's sake. If she can do that, then it can do the same. Or maybe it just wants to make amends because she interrupted her work and missed out on some good metal in order to save it. Or perhaps seeing her be happy for it when it found a coin made it want to be as caring, selfless, and supportive as her. Or it found her kindness so touching that it just had to return the favor. Or all of the above. Regardless, the result is the same. Gimmighoul goes on to do a lot for Tinkatuff, most notably stepping up despite being terrified to protect her during the battle with Coral and the Sidian once Quaxwell is taken out. Sure, it's a clumsy fighter. Astonished does nothing, heck, it hilariously gets astonished instead, it gets chased around, and it's ultimately defeated. All it manages to do is buy time, but the effort matters because it fights for her, not itself. Its most powerful moment, however, comes right after its defeat. It drops several coins, and rather than rushing to collect them like it normally would, Gimmighoul ignores them. Instead, it picks up a Corbinite feather that Tinkatuff needs to finish her hammer. This single act says everything. It literally puts her and her goal above it and its own goal. Its precious coins are now second to Tinkatuff's hammer. This is just impressive and praiseworthy growth. I had mixed feelings about Dot being the one who captured the Gimmighoul, but this episode made it feel right at home with her and her team. Seeing Gimmighoul work alongside her, Tinkatuff, and Quaxwell, helping, caring, and fighting for each other, they've built chemistry, a real dynamic. And this, for me, solidifies Gimmighoul's place on Dot's team. This episode also made Gimmighoul a better, more lovable, and compelling character. It's still as mischievous and funny as ever, but it's also brave, endearing, and it has a heart of gold. Or should I say, a heart good as gold. So yeah, this episode was almost as much a Gimmighoul episode as it was a Tinkatuff episode. That said, she's still very much the star of the show, and she makes the most of it by showcasing all her best traits to the fullest. She's hilarious like when she jumps off the airship to land hammer first into a truck full of metal. She's adorable like when she hugs her hammer post-evolution while looking proud and overjoyed. She's kind-hearted like when she uses her Corbinite slaying technique to drop berries for wild Pokemon, and she's laser-focused on her craft, pouring everything into improving her hammer even while chaos unfolds around her. I also love how she refuses to settle. She doesn't just grab any piece of metal she finds lying around and calls it a day. She searches relentlessly until she finds something that meets her high standards. This refusal to compromise says everything about who she is: driven, passionate, and a perfectionist. The material that finally earns her approval ends up being Corbinite feathers, which is poetic considering Tinkaton is perhaps best known for knocking Corbinite out of the sky. And fittingly enough, this is exactly what happens here. And not just any Corbinite, it's a taxi Corbinite, straight from the legend of Tinkaton. It's perfect. There's also a lot to praise when it comes to how her evolution happens. While having her hammer glow and evolve like a Pokemon might not be as realistic as having it change organically like when she went from Tinkating to Tinkatuff, it's still beautifully symbolic. Just like before, she cannot lift her new, larger hammer until she evolves, which makes for some brilliant payoff. She made her hammer evolve, and in turn, she evolves to match it. This time though, she doesn't do it alone. Dot, Quaxwell, and Gimmighoul all step in to help her lift the hammer, which wonderfully symbolizes that unlike before, her evolution wasn't a mostly solo effort, but rather the result of everyone supporting her. It's a remarkably fitting touch. Unfortunately though, this is where my main and really only complaint about this episode comes in. I understand that when Tinkatuff is so focused on her hammer, she shouldn't be disturbed. Dot and Quaxwell even stop Gimmighoul from distracting her earlier in the episode. This is why they go to such lengths to protect and help her during the battle. It makes sense and it's admirable, but considering that both Quaxwell and Gimmighoul get absolutely wrecked and Dot scrambles to help as attacks fly everywhere, it's difficult not to wonder why Tinkatuff doesn't help sooner. Now, I get it. Her ultimate hammer is almost complete, so it's all hands on deck to make sure she finishes it. And once she finally does, her intervention is poetic, the culmination of everyone's effort leading to the triumphant moment where she evolves and steps in to save the day. It's powerful and meaningful, but it does take a little suspension of disbelief to fully buy into the logic of it. It's like playing a battle royale and experiencing the classic your whole squad is fighting for their lives, except for that one teammate who's off looting instead. I understand why they don't ask her to help. They are being considerate and selfless, but I don't understand why she doesn't decide to intervene sooner, seeing as she had no issue putting her hammer crafting on hold to save Gimmighoul from Scrafty. It's mind-boggling that she wouldn't do the same in a more dire situation where more of her friends are in danger. But hey, at least when she finally joins in, she does so spectacularly. Channeling her inner Shohei Ohtani to Team Rocket is blasting off again, Glalie out of the park with brutal swing. The only thing missing here is Gigaton Hammer, which would have made this scene even more epic and accurate since Tinkaton learns her signature move upon evolving. But I'm sure she will learn it eventually, right? After all, what's a Tinkaton without Gigaton Hammer? Also, I love that her hammer kept its unique look, pink metal and microphone centerpiece, all the way to the end, just like I hoped. It's especially noticeable now since this hammer is much bigger. Finally, before running into Dot and her Pokemon, Coral and Obsidian are seen promoting strong spheres, much like in episode 95. And just like back then, it's clear that they are basically celebrities now, adored and idolized. This episode only reinforces this, especially since we see that even in their spare time, off stage, they are recognized and hounded by fans, which is hilarious. They went from anonymous villains to full-blown stars in a year. So I'd say Exceed's PR team definitely deserves a raise. The cabbie is hilarious too. He initially adamantly refuses to take Coral and Obsidian to their destination because the route passes over Paldea, which is bad news for Corbinite. However, he ends up agreeing because he's a huge fan of Coral, proving that their fame is useful in more ways than one. Funnier still is his and the Corbinite's reaction when they see Tinkatuff running towards them after she knocks them out of the sky. Their sheer terror is just hysterical. It's like they see a literal demon. It's priceless and another nod to Tinkaton's claim to fame. So overall, this episode was fantastic. It's one of those episodes that makes you wish Pokemon interactions had subtitles just so you could understand every exchange between them. Though honestly, that might take away some of the charm. Between Gimmighoul's heartwarming growth, Tinkatuff's near-perfect evolution, the fantastic showcase of what makes them both such wonderful, endearing characters, and their bond with each other as well as with Dot and Quaxwell, and the Coral and Obsidian's comedic chaos, episode 109 delivers a great balance of heart, humor, and character development. The only thing holding it back is the small stretch of logic during the battle, but even then, the emotional payoff makes up for it. Not to mention, this is a minor nitpick to begin with, so it's easy to overlook, especially given how satisfying and stellar everything else is. This was, without a doubt, a thoroughly enjoyable, meaningful, funny, heartfelt, and brilliantly executed episode all around. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, feel free to click the links on screen. And if you'd like to support the channel and help me keep making content like this, you can find all the ways to do so in the description and in the pinned comment. Whether it's through a small donation or just watching and sharing, every bit of support means the world to me. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.